I'm going to need a couple things. I'm going to need 2 wetsuits. I'm going to need a serrated knife.
Two wetsuits.
I'll explain. And I'm going to need a lot of baby oil. I'm talking
Wait,
enough to make Diddy blush.
wait, baby oil.
Yes. What for Lubin? So I'm going
What's
to...
happening?
Trust me. God damn it. Maybe he got a little too cozy with some of these birds.
Only explanation I have in where a Fiat Uno could keep up with a Mercedes S280, okay?
It's not that I wouldn't fight Mothman. I would beat the shit out of him.
We're seasoned.
So wait, you mean to tell me they have a festival commemorating the day a man got his shit rocked by an extraterrestrial carrot?
My neighbors across the street, they are not real.
But a pyramid is the most boring shape.
Part Sasquatch, part trickster midget.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Kitchen.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us in the Conspiracy Kitchen, where we attempt to find the secret ingredients behind life's daily mysteries. I'm Joe, and as always, I'm accompanied by my sous chef, Joshua, the cryptid killer.
That's me.
And today, I guess back by popular demand again, we're going to be doing another cryptid. This one will be the Mongolian Death Worm. Now, before anyone it's just a fucking worm. This is what basically the Tremor movies were. Fuck the word I'm looking for here.
Inspiration.
It's inspiration from these Mongolian death worms. It's a legendary creature. This is going way back in Mongolian folklore. But then it really gained our attention over here in like Europe and America in the 20th centuries because there was a book written about it. And it's on the Trail of Ancient Man. Secondhand tales of this from Mongolian officers about this worm, or actually, I guess worms. So this thing lives in the Gobi Desert. Depending on, I guess, who's telling the story or who's seen it, maybe it's just different offspring. Maybe because there's supposed to be more than one. They're 2 to 7 feet long. Usually red. Call them sausage-like. I guess just think of a link of sausage that's 2 to 7 feet long. No distinct head, no distinct tail, no legs, nothing. But apparently they're like one of the most deadly cryptids around, by far. What can they do, Josh? They can.
Oh, dude, this thing rules. So its other name is Algoi kakoi, which loosely translates to large intestine worm. Fun. This thing, it's venomous to the touch, which story goes it'll kill you almost instantly. It could spit acid, which is fucking sweet, and then it could also generate electricity. Somehow. I don't know why you need 3 awesome abilities, but I guess it's to make up for the fact that it looks like a sausage. But
yeah. Now, to go back to that loosely large intestine worm thing, from what I understand, the reason locals called it that back in the day is because apparently it killed camels. And then it would lay the eggs for the other worms in the camel's intestines. Just a fun fact on why it was called large intestine worm. You can continue.
No, yeah, I heard that too. No, they did that to whatever was like closest to them, which would for the area is mainly camels. But if there weren't camels and there was just a human just kind of trekking along, they'd get fucked up and turned into a nest.
Yeah, or even I guess a human could be too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, I mean, people have tried to see like what this is because they're trying to say that the Gobi Desert is unsuitable for a worm. There's no way they could live there. So they're trying to say maybe it's some kind of lizard or snake type thing. But I'm going with it. It's a worm. 100% worm.
I mean, all the pictures I see, it looks fucking worm-like.
That's what I'm saying. They're saying it's not, though. They say it doesn't exist.
Well, fuck them. Our story begins. As back in the 20s, we had Roy Chapman Andrews, excuse me. He was a
Okay.
American paleontologist. He was the one who wrote the book on
Yes.
the Trail of Ancient Man. And in the book, he mentions that because he interviewed a bunch of people in the Gobi Desert, and the majority of them told him about this fucking worm. And he never saw it himself, but countless people he spoke to told him all about it. And that kind of, piqued interest of a lot of people in, Europe and America. But yeah, that was also, didn't he discover like dinosaur eggs?
He might have. I didn't look into this part of it. No.
No, it's part of the story. He
I
discovered
didn't.
dinosaur eggs in the area.
Huh. Out there in Mongolia.
Yeah.
Huh.
This
He-
is factual.
All right. Well, and he's saying there's a worm. So, or well, for just through secondhand accounts, I guess.
Poisonous
apparently this-
sausage.
Yeah, it's the sausages. But apparently this thing has like killed a lot of people. This might be like one of the so far anyway. Any of cryptids, this has the most like kill count. So we got like way before there was a group of herders. They for herding goats for some reason they're in the dunes of the Gobi Desert. One guy stumbled across one of these blood red worms. This one, he said, was about 3 feet long. It was half burrowed in the sand. He didn't know what the fuck it was, so what do? What does anyone do when they don't know what something is? He poked it with a stick, right? That's what we all do. So, a little bit of a mistake. It said, they say the worm then reared up and sprayed a yellow venom just right out of his, I guess, one of its orifices, since it doesn't have a face, and it hit him in the face itself. They're saying he dropped dead within seconds. His skin blistered up like it was, doused in acid, and it vanished back into the sand dune and only left the guy's corpse laying there. So either the worm is real or they didn't, the group of herders didn't like this one guy and they poured acid on themselves and made up this elaborate story about a worm. Which one you going with?
The worm is real.
The worm's real. Of course, they made movies on it.
Yeah, has to be.
So then we had another one in the 40s. The story was called The Boy in the Dunes. The story that was told by generations. He was a young boy playing near his family's yurt in the 1940s. I guess it's some kind of like hut. He was chasing a stray lamb for whatever reason and wandered into a sandy hollow. Hours later, his family found him sprawled out, lifeless, and his body oddly yellowed, like jaundice, I guess, or just some yellow liquid on him. No wounds, no snake bites, but they said they smelt a faint smell of chemical-y smell in the air, like a chemical was in the air. The elders whispered, it must have been the death worm, and it spit on him. So the family abandoned their camp, fuck that, and because they were afraid the worm was around, and they moved. Big time move. We have another shepherd's tale from the 70s. He was guiding his camels through a remote stretch when one of them, let out a scream and collapsed, his camel. The guy rushed over, saw a red sausage-like creature laying there, slithering away slowly, and the camel's leg was scorched, like it had been hit with a lightning bolt or something. The locals then said, that was the worm. It's definitely the worm. And it could unleash electric jolts strong enough to fry a full-grown animal like a camel or a person. The herder then said he never went back to that valley ever again. Never. Nope. We got a Czech explorer, Ivan. He heard a gut-wrenching story from another Gobi shepherd. Guy was a nomad digging for water when he hit a strange burrow. And again, a red sausage shot out, bruising his arm. I guess it slammed into his arm, he's saying. He screamed, convulsed, and then he just died. Done. His skin turned into like a yellow-green color all over it, blistered up again, and the worm was gone before he could even grab a weapon. The other guy couldn't even grab a weapon, and they just buried him right there on the spot and left. Didn't really care to stay, I guess, much longer than that.
Yeah,
So,
no, fuck that.
And apparently it likes to kill Russians on top of this, or Soviets, I should say, from back at the time. Because back then, the Mongolian, like in the early 1900s, they were part of like that Soviet pact. So in the 40s, we had an Ivan. He was a paleontologist from the Soviet Union. He was looking for fossils out there in the Gobi Desert. Two researchers, Grisha and Misha, spotted a pair. See, there's two now. So I guess there could be 100, I don't know how many other, but a decent amount of them. A pair of 3 to 4 foot long worms with no clear head or tail, coiled up in the sand. They ignored the warnings from the Mongolian guide that was with them. They said, leave it alone. It's a fucking, death worms. They rushed to capture one alive, for whatever reason. As they approached, the worms turned blue from red for some reason. This is the first time you really hear about this, and no other accounts talk about the worms turning colors. And formed rings, unleashing a violent electric shock from their little ringed bodies, I guess they would. Both men dropped dead pretty much instantly, burned to a crisp. The guide said the worms exploded with rage because they were running at them and sprayed a toxic mist in the air and sent out an electric bolt to kill those two Soviets. So, yeah, another, the blue thing, I don't know. It's the first time and last time I really hear about this. I guess they do turn blue, I guess lightning. We also have, unless you have something else you want to go in before I can continue reading about dead Soviets.
No, just Ivan. This is Ivan Makarov, I'm guessing.
No, this is a different Ivan.
Oh,
this is Ivan Efremov.
Oh, then I have a different Ivan. But go ahead.
Oh, let's hear the other Ivan then. We'll put the Ivans together.
No, keep the Ivans going.
Yeah.
No, Ivan was a Czech cryptozoologist. Ivan.
Yeah, yes.
And he traveled
in the 50s.
Yeah, he traveled the world looking for cryptids. He even spent time in, I think he spent like a year in Scotland looking for the Loch Ness Monster. But he went to the Gobi Desert 3 separate times, never finding anything. But the third time he went there, he was told by a Buddhist monk, he's like, hey man, I'm paraphrasing obviously. He's like, hey man, don't come back here. If you do, you're gonna die. And that night, apparently, Ivan had a dream about the death worm because he was obsessed with it at this point. And then when he woke up, his back was covered with blood-filled boils. And he never went back after that.
No.
But yeah, that was the 90s.
Oh, so there's even another, because I have another Ivan that was a similar name, Makril.
That's crazy.
This guy in the 50s, he went, while digging a trench, he disturbed one of their burrows. So in the 50s, he's another one, I guess, this is another Mongolian elder that talked about this. Another, I guess a lot of, it likes to kill Ivans. So we got another Ivan here, 1950s. He was working. He was actually working on an irrigation project in the Gobi Desert. He was digging a trench, and he disturbed the burrow. A red worm, described as maybe as thick as a human arm, emerged and spat a yellow liquid. Again, another, I guess, toxic waste. It hit his arm. He collapsed in a convulsing fit on the floor. His skin started turning yellow from where he was hit with the stuff, the acidy stuff. And he died within a few minutes. The team just ran away. They said, fuck it. They ran off, didn't even care anymore. didn't grab his body, and just left the guy out there in the freaking Gobi Desert. So we have that one. We also have a group of Soviets that were doing a mapping project in the same area, about the 40s, 50s. They were just, doing military mapping, and they went to bed at night, and they sent one guy out to like a night patrol while the other one slept. The next morning, didn't know where he was. They went searching, couldn't find him anywhere nearby. After a few hours, they found him a couple miles away, actually, in a hollow. It's like a sandy hollow pit. When they got to him, his mouth was frozen in like a scream. His mouth was wide open, and he was, dead. And they believe he was electrocuted. They had signs of burns on his skin, and they also smelled a faint, acidy chemical smell in the air as well. So, another guy stumbling upon a nest he shouldn't have, I guess.
Jesus.
That guy's name was Sergey, by the way.
So it sounds like they hunt in packs.
They could hunt in packs, yeah. The two of them, I guess they were. It seems like they don't really are they hunting or are they getting disturbed? Because from like all the death things I've seen, it usually seems like it's almost like you step on like one of them wasps' nests that are in the ground,
mm-hmm.
and they come out. So like, are they hunting or are they just like, what the fuck you doing, and they just kill you? Because it doesn't seem like they eat them. They don't like eat. They don't do anything. They just kill you. It's fucking. Dude, for whatever reason.
Those wasp nests in the ground. Sorry to go off topic, but
we can go off talking all we
want. My grandparents had one in their backyard, but these wasps, I don't know what the fuck. They were like 4 inches long. Like they were huge. And it got to a point where like my grandfather found a couple dead ones and he put them in a Ziploc bag. And he's like, "You're coming with me to the university." And I'm like, this is not a science fiction movie. They're not going to want to talk to you. So we drive to a college and we just drop these off. And he made me hold them like in my lap as we're driving there. And I'm like, "I can't put this on the floor." He's like, "No, hold it." I'm like, "You motherfucker." But yeah, they're fucking huge, and like you never see them because, like you said, they're in the ground. So you could just be walking barefoot and just step right on these fucking giant wasps, and then they kill you probably.
Yeah, and then I feel like that's kind of what's happening here, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I mean, they're in the ground, not bothering anybody yet, and then you're just bumbling along in the desert.
Yeah, and then you step on it by accident. And you just fuck off. Should we fly to Mongolia?
You want to go be desert trip for the boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. This venom, though, is pretty, like, just looking into it, like, it seems like, I don't know what, it's probably, like, the most potent acid in the world, dude. It
has to be.
Paralyzes you.
Seconds.
It paralyzes you. It dissolves flesh on contact, leaving it like a gooey, disgusting mess. Like that, the one herder, by the time his family found him, like they said his arm was like pretty much gone. Like it just melted into the ground.
Jesus.
Although you're saying, now, maybe, do they kill, or they just, because you were saying also like humans, do they lay eggs in humans or just the camel?
No, they do it humans too. So
I guess they don't eat it because they lay the eggs, so the eggs can eat their, like once they hatch, I guess, in the intestines they can get some kind of nutrients on the way out. But then what do the worms eat? I guess they do eat. I mean, from what I see, the bodies are always found though.
Maybe no, that's stupid. I was gonna say maybe they're like plants and they crave sunlight, but no.
Worm.
Oh, what do worms eat?
What do regular earthworms eat? I don't know.
Dumb animal.
I don't know. Let's see. So it looks like, from what I understand, what they say is that, according to nomads, the death worm's primary food is small desert animals. So, like rodents such as gerbils, mice, lizards, small snakes. So for small things, they ambush them from underneath. So maybe they are hunting and they just ambushing humans too. They spray the venom to liquidize it, and then they just like slurp it up like a Slurpee, because they don't have any like head or anything, I guess, in mouth. So then they, just eat like what you're doing for the old people, like pureeing it up. That's basically what's going on here with the acid. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, like the bigger livestock, say goats and camels, that's where they spray with the venom, and then they burrow into the carcass and lay their eggs in the intestines.
Bon
and then
appetit.
yeah. So don't listen to this, I guess, while you're eating breakfast. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, yeah, Mongolian Death Worm, big sausage.
Yeah, apparently it's just a big sausage. But yeah, it likes to kill Soviets left and right, apparently. Sergeys and a ton of Ivans. They just soften up their food with this acid and spit all over the place.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So when this thing is now inspired the movies Tremors. And I guess it's one of Josh's favorite movies.
Fucking love Tremors, dude.
You want to? Maybe they don't know what Tremors are. You want to tell them about Tremors?
I'll talk about Tremors. Let's fucking get into it.
All right, let's talk about Tremors.
Tremors, starring a young Kevin Bacon.
That was good off the bat.
Yeah. Him and his friend, they do like odd jobs around this desert town that has like a very small community. And one day, just the tremors start happening, like shaking in the ground and whatnot, and animals start going missing. And turns out there's a giant sandworm underneath the ground that's basically closing them off from the rest of the world, like won't let them leave, because it's trying to eat them. And they called it a graboid in the movie. And they're trying to get to Reba McEntire's house, which sounds stupid, but it's the movie. And they're basically playing the floor is lava, jumping on anything they can, trying to avoid touching the ground because the worm feels the vibrations and immediately goes for that. And then they get to Reba McEntire's house because her and her husband are crazy like doomsday preppers, and they have a shit ton of guns in their basement. And they just... yeah, that's Tremor. That's the whole series of Tremors. Just don't touch the ground. And
stay on top of the roofs.
Get to a house with guns.
Oh, the train in the background.
Yeah, fucking love Tremors, dude. They also inspired the worms from Dune.
Did they?
Loosely. I have not watched Dune because it's too long, but...
I mean, I feel like any movie that has a giant worm, it could be inspired by the Mongolian Death Worm.
Or the one from SpongeBob. That was the...
oh, yeah, the Alaskan bullworm.
Yeah.
That could have been the same, but he was pink or whatever. It was kind of yellowy pink. It was, well, I guess it was still, because, I mean, Sandy's a squirrel and she could just walk into his mouth. So I guess, yeah, it was much bigger than this thing. It probably fucked this stupid worm up.
Dude, this thing is just crazy. It's got acid and electricity.
So this thing would just easily fuck up the Jersey Devil, huh?
No. Well, no. I don't know.
Because the Jersey Devil has like claws. Like he's going to have to get in and fight and this thing wants you to go one-on-one contact. It doesn't, or at range. It has range attacks, spitting acid like a cobra, and then his body's just covered in the same acid anyway, so if you touch it, you just melt. Our boy JD, I don't know if he can handle this thing.
I don't know. It's a tough one. But there was one Russian that his story, he said he encountered one in the 70s and he killed one with a rock. just threw
There's
a rock
no
at it.
way. There's no way he did this.
Yeah, he claimed he threw a rock at it and killed it, and then the Russian government came and took it and hid it in a basement of a museum back in Russia.
He lied.
I don't know, man. He hit it with a rock.
Lied. The acid would have eaten that rock up.
He seemed pretty convincing.
No, he's definitely not. It's not true at all.
Well,
because I don't even think you could take this thing.
I can.
No, I don't think so.
Why don't you think so? Why?
Because listen, there's some things. I mean, there's some things I think you could take. This thing, like, are we talking hand-to-hand combat with this thing, or are you allowed to use weapons and stuff like that?
All right, look, this thing's got electricity, acid, all kinds of shit. I'm allowed a weapon, okay? Now, I have a few ways to go about it. All right. Would you like to hear them?
Everyone would love to. I think our audience would love to hear your way of killing this thing. And maybe some people would like to give you back your status as cryptid killer. I've given it back. I think that weird guy, Bola Stew.
The one who listens to nothing but his socks?
Yes, I think he gave it back. Maybe. I don't know. We haven't heard from him. What happened to him? If you're out there, come on. You still listening?
If you're out there, get dressed.
Dressed. But we have another fan. I mean, we talk about him sometimes because he's great. He's always commenting. He hypes us up. Hammers. He does not think you have the cryptid killer title back. So could whatever you're about to do, you think you're going to earn his trust back in you as being the cryptid killer that you once were?
Look, if this doesn't do it, nothing will. All right. So here's my idea. I'm going to need a couple things. I'm going to need 2 wetsuits. I'm going to need a serrated knife.
2 wetsuits.
2. I'll explain. And I'm going to need a lot of baby oil. I'm talking enough to make Diddy blush.
Wait, baby oil?
Yes. What for lubin? So I'm going to...
What's happening?
Trust me. God damn it. I'm going to put on 2 wetsuits.
2.
Because you got to layer, because once the acid hits, it's going to start eating away. You got to give yourself time. Let it affect the top wetsuit, and then,
Okay.
Then, douse myself in baby oil. Like, too much. I'll be the slipperiest dude on the planet. And then, I'm gonna stand out in the desert, and I'm going to do my Mongolian Death Worm call to get its attention.
There's a call for this thing?
And then and just like in Tremors, you're going to see the ground start shaking and coming in my direction.
Now, are you wearing a chef's hat during this?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course I am.
Okay.
And mind you, the wetsuit covers from head to toe, but the hat goes on top.
The hat goes on top, yes.
Always.
And it adds a layer of protection on top of that for your head.
Plus style. Gotta look good. But once it comes out of the ground and lunges at me with its mouth agape, I will then dive inside of the Mongolian... Let me finish. I'm going to dive inside the Mongolian Death Worm like a sleeping bag. and then I will pull out my serrated knife from an area I don't feel the need to mention. And as the acid chews down on me, mind you, it's a rubber wetsuit, so the electricity does not affect me. Feel the need to mention that.
Oh, he's okay.
I've thought this through for a week at least.
He's insulated from the electricity.
That's right. I'm going to pull that serrated knife, and I'm going to slice the belly wide open. And then I'm going to slide out like that license plate did in the shark in Jaws. And just slide out. And then strip off the wetsuits before the acid gets me and stand there victorious.
Now, I have a quick question. When you strip off the wetsuits, what do you still have clothes on underneath this?
Just the chef's hat.
Just the chef's hat.
I stand there naked to assert dominance.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Just the chef's hat. No socks?
What am I, an animal? No socks.
So there's a second one because we've seen this that these could travel in pairs.
I don't think it would try it because, again, I'm standing there asserting dominance.
Okay, so the other one would just say, "Fuck, this guy's fucked."
It'll leave in respect.
I guess if it sees you split one of them wide open, by being lubed up in baby oil with a serrated blade,
birth myself out of it after slicing its stomach open.
It's a sight to be seen. The other one might just leave. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. You don't think they're smart enough to see? Well, now he doesn't have a wetsuits on. I should just spray him.
I wouldn't fuck with me after that.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Now, before you engage, will you drink like a tall glass of Ovaltine just for that extra edge?
Yes. I feel like that goes without saying.
Just for the extra edge, just to pump you up enough to get out there and fuck that thing up. I get it. Yes.
Well, that brings me to my next way of killing them. I have 2 out of 3.
Oh.
I have 3 ways. This is my second one.
Okay. Let's keep it going. Yeah, let's hear this.
I don't do much at work aside from think of these. So I'm going to fly in a vat of Ovaltine to the Gobi Desert. I'm going to find someone to back my expedition and fund a vat of Ovaltine.
Yeah, I was going to say, this one seems a little expensive.
Very expensive, but perhaps Nestle would like to step in. Huh? Get your name in the history books.
Yeah.
I would fly in a vat of Ovaltine with one hose going out the end.
Okay.
Like a fire hose.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to stand there and do my worm call. And this time, when it lunges at me, I'm going to step out of the way like a matador and let it wrap its gullet around the hose, which then I will flip a switch and just Ovaltine will dump inside of it and fill it like a balloon. And the vitamin C will be so strong that it will just disintegrate in front of our very eyes. And then it will explode and just a glorious rain of Ovaltine will pour down.
You're not worried that the Ovaltine thing could backfire and make it stronger than ever?
I had not thought of that.
All those vitamins and minerals might turn the death worm into like the genocide worm.
Oh my god, the genocide worm.
Then what do? You just made this thing like it goes from 3 to 7 feet, or whatever they say it is, to like 30 to 70 feet. Like it's 10 times bigger. And it just goes on a rampage through Mongolia.
Oh, that'd be...
Then you just get on a plane and fly back to the States, right? It's not going through the water.
No, I would need a bigger vat after that. But, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We could also win. So...
We could win, yes.
So that was 2. Now, the third and final way, I'm going to enlist the help of Reba McEntire from the Tremors movie. I'm going to,
Okay.
which in real life she's probably just going to look at me like I'm crazy.
She's older now. How old is she now? Jeez.
That's a good question. She looks toneless. Good for her.
Yeah, she doesn't age. Yeah.
No, she doesn't. She looks fantastic. Reba McEntire. Google. I need a new phone. This is not helping. Come on, iPhone.
This is don't worry. Let me get my Galaxy Fold out.
She's 70.
She's 70. She doesn't look 70.
She doesn't look 70. She looks at least 50. Now, I'm gonna enlist the help of Reba McEntire and all of her weapons from the basement in that movie.
Okay.
And we're gonna lure the worms out and just light them up.
Mm.
And a single mom who works 2 jobs. It's gonna be great.
Are you afraid that the acid could destroy the bullets before they penetrate the worm?
You think it's that quick?
I don't know. It just kills people almost instantly. And I was just wondering, I guess it'd probably penetrate and then disintegrate. And I don't see anything about healing abilities for these worms, but no one ever fucking kills them.
I don't know if it would disintegrate it fully, but maybe it just enough for it not to hurt it as bad.
I think your first one's probably the best way to go.
It's the one I thought way too long on.
Because that one is one, the other worms are going to be afraid.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not afraid. 2, you're not worried about actually doing the reverse effect with Ovaltine and giving it superpowers on top of its already superpowers. And just absolutely obliterating all of Mongolia and part of Russia. And 3, you don't have to worry about Reba, 1, judging you, and 2, her age affecting the outcome.
First off, how dare you? She's very spry for her age. And second, you think she would judge me?
If you randomly went up to Reba and said, listen, I'm going to Mongolia, she'd be like, what? I'm going to take on
who?
The Mongolian who? I'm going to take on the Mongolian Death Worm. It's like your movie Tremors. And we're going to get all the weapons you didn't have but showed in the movie, and we're going to light the thing up. She's going to judge you. She's going to think you're some kind of weird super fan.
Or she's going to say, I've been waiting for a warrior all these years to take on the Mongolian Death Worm. One full of Ovaltine and pure strength. You're that man. Yes, I will go to Mongolia with you.
And she can fund it.
She can fund it.
She can 100% fund it. Yeah, I mean, she probably has a decent amount of money.
I think we should go to the Gobi Desert.
We have a lot of places we got to go. We got to go to the desert where the little Atacama alien was. We got to go to this desert. I don't want deserts.
Go to the desert. Too many deserts. Let's just go to one.
All right. So which one you're going to the Gobi over the Atacama?
Yeah.
Even though the Atacama has everything, it has ghosts, demons, aliens, zombies, and how could we ever forget the Peruvian fat suckers? You would pass all that up for the death worm? Well, you need to kill it, though. That's the thing. I now that I'm thinking about it, I just answered my own question. Yeah, the Peruvian fat suckers and everything, that's great. But we have to go to both, I guess, because you need to go to the Gobi Desert, because you need to kill the death worm, because you need to show the world that just because you were afraid of spiders in Antarctica, you're still the cryptid killer.
What the fuck did you... was
If I
not
remember
afraid of
correctly, it
them.
was some. You clipped so bad it was.
I'm sorry. I'm not afraid of the spiders in Antarctica.
I thought
I'm
that's
not.
what you said.
No. I'm afraid because they're just animals. They're just doing
Okay.
their thing. I'm afraid of the person I would become if I just started
Yes.
slaughtering animals.
Spiders, yeah, just random spiders. I get it, but they're not really just any old spider. They're like cryptid spiders. They're giant.
I'd fight a cryptid spider. Why not?
Okay, so you will go down to Antarctica and a giant spider. You will
Yeah.
take it on.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Well, you're questioning me, and I don't appreciate it.
A lot of people questioned you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm just trying to, be the voice of the people, and you need that cryptid killer vibe back that you once had.
Once had.
Fearless,
I just said I was going to douse myself in baby oil and birth myself out of a giant sausage worm. And you say I don't have that title anymore? How dare you?
I call you the cryptid killer.
Thank you.
It was just that you don't have that same aura that you once had when they took you down from that high point you had because you said something about spiders in Antarctica,
It's just upsetting. I think
the whole episode needs to be deleted off.
I think we do a new series that we film like Destination Discovery, but finding and beating up cryptids. And since he's the one who called me out, we'll bring hammers along. Just to witness.
See who can fight the cryptid better.
Yeah, let's see you fight a cryptid.
Hammers, you're probably gonna listen. Comment. You think you can beat up a cryptid better than Josh can now? After that, you heard all that story. Let us know after the when on your commute for work or during your travels for work. Drop a comment in there after you listen to this.
Tell us that.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, tell us that, and also tell us how you would take down the death worm, because I thought my way was pretty interesting. I would love to hear your take.
Number one way that you gave me chills. The way you described your first one, that's definitely the best way to go.
Is it clear that I sat in silence and thought about that for a while?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, what, in the dark? No distractions?
No, I was at the desk at work while one of my mechanics crashed into a car outside. Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Sorry to go off topic, but this made me laugh really hard today.
Go ahead.
One of our mechanics was working on a pickup truck, and it just came in for a flat repair. That was all. And he's getting ready to back it out. And we just hear the screech of the tires. And we're like, the fuck was that? And we look out the door into the shop and we see him floor it backwards into a parked van. And he's just like, oh no.
Why would he do that?
Because he's a bumbling idiot. And the truck was fine, but the van, he ripped the fender off.
Oh no.
But yeah, I was thinking about that, and then that happened, so that would spend my day.
Well, if it was up to me, you'd definitely have the title back after your description of that death, to be honest. So, yeah, let us know if you think Josh does get that title back. We're still planning. We're gonna probably now. This is for real this time. That's why we're releasing this one. We're gonna release 2 a week. We got to be held to this, right, Joshua?
Huh?
We want to release. We want to release for a Monday morning release and a Friday morning release. So you get started with the week with listening to our voices, whether you hate them or not, to get you into that work week, and then you finish the work week by hearing our voices again to get you all ready for the weekend. So 2 releases a week. We have to start doing it now, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And that's where we're getting this one out for Friday. And then we'll record again so we can get it out for Monday. And we'll keep doing them. Let us know if you like the Unsolved Mysteries, because it seems like when I look at the analytics on Spotify, Unsolved Mysteries get a lot of listens off the rip. Let us know about them, cryptids, and just random conspiracies, whatever you want to hear. If anyone has anything they want to hear or want us to research, we can do that too. You can comment on this episode on Spotify. You can comment on X. Send us a direct message on X, Instagram. Same thing. Conspiracy Kitchen Podcast. Give us a follow on there. Like on this. Rate us. Slowly gaining, like I said, still slowly gaining followers. So I think we're doing something right, at least. And I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, Josh.
Does John Cena still follow us?
On X?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Let me see. Let's get a quick screen up before we sign off for the night.
Hi, John.
Let me go to my followers. Let me search him. What am I doing? Hello, Jonathan. Yep.
Hell yeah.
You follow each other. John Cena, you follow each other, yeah. So he's still there on X. But yeah. Rate this. This one might have been a little bit shorter because we're just getting into the swing of the 2 weeks. Or twice a week, I should say. But we're gonna start going twice a week, 1 hour episodes just for your commutes. Like I said, Mondays and Fridays.
Oh, and something you and I have to do this weekend. Because our friend told us he was on vacation recently, and he told us that he listened to our episode on his way back, and I think we still have to quiz him to see if he's bullshitting or not.
Yeah, definitely. He told me he listened to Devin Williams, the trucker disappearance, which was our last episode, and he said he listened to Jeanette De Palma, the mysterious death of her, which was, I don't know, something like 13 or 14. I forgot. Those two unsolved mysteries. Now, those did get a lot of, they get a lot of attention, the unsolved ones. I think those are the only two we've done so far, right, for unsolved
believe so, yeah.
So we could dig more into those. I don't want to do ones that like everyone knows about already. You don't want to do one that's already on Unsolved Mysteries, the TV show or anything. I want to get like Devin Williams. Like no one heard of this that people have asked, and I never heard of it either before. Just last month. So something like that. I want to get into, get all the details out, and then try to solve it ourselves, or give you guys the best possible explanation for what happened based on our stupidity, like probably running drugs, right? I think
It's the only logical explanation.
Unless, like, it was, like I said, ghost truck. He was part of the ghost fleet, and the government just washed everything because he did something wrong. It's not that far fetched.
No,
but they said they made me do it. I'm going to jail. Drugs. That's what I'm going. And of course, probably the families are going to say anything, especially if whatever group he was running drugs for said something. They're not going to sit because they don't want to die themselves. So they're not going to say anything. So that's why they said, "Oh no, nothing's going on." So yeah. So I think we're going to do another. You know what we should do Saturday? Another unsolved mystery. What do you think?
I think so too. We'll discuss. We'll think of one.
We'll discuss, but just be ready for that. So for your Monday morning commute, you should be able to hear an unsolved mystery with our opinion on what happened. Whether you agree or not, you can let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Give us your opinions. Hammers, looking at you. Tell me what you think about the death worm. And yeah,
It's a shout out to Hammers because we get listens or plays and everything, follows and stuff, but he consistently comments on both X and on Spotify. He's great.
Yeah,
he's like in the early beginning, like when we didn't have as many followers and stuff. He really motivated us to keep going. So we do appreciate him following us.
Yeah, and our friends did not. So
and their friends don't. Yeah, and you're right. They do suck.
Yeah, bags of shit. Anyway.
Well, until Monday, if you're listening to this Friday, we'll see you then with an unsolved mystery.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Later.